Hello all, my name is Sarah Cook. I am a sophomore and the editor of Peelpedia News. This week my group, Erica Boyle, Nicholas Sinetko, Hayden Champagne, Andre Malberg, and I interviewed numerous people on the Capturing Kids' Hearts program. Our interviews ranged from students to Dr. Hoffman and even to the leadership solution strategist for the Capturing Kids' Hearts program. We wanted to get the real story and show just how this program will be affecting our school. So without further ado, I'll let these fine people introduce themselves.
Yeah, my name is Angelo Delasanti, and I am a leadership solution strategist with Capturing Kids' Hearts.
Hi, I'm Mr. Bitters. I'm an English teacher here at Pine Lake.
Hi, I'm Stu Walker.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm happy to be here.
Hi, I am Dr. Hoffman. I am the principal at the upper school.
And I'm Lori Reuter. I am the assistant principal at the upper school.
Hi, my name is Braden Wiley, and I am in 10th grade.
All right, hi, I'm Luke High, and my grade level is 11.
Hey, I'm Andrew. I'm a senior here at Pine Lake.
Explain what Capturing Kids' Hearts is in your own words.
Yeah, so I think our main overarching goal is to foster better relationships between teachers and students and students collectively. So not just, hey, how do we build safe and appropriate relationships between students and teachers, but how do we help you guys as students do that as well?
I would say from what little I've experienced with it so far this year, it is a way to change the framing of the interaction between students and teachers, and it's giving students a voice and empowerment over their own actions and interactions within the classroom.
Yeah, so Capturing Kids' Hearts is a program that we've started this year at Pine Lake that is designed to kind of create a different relationship between teachers and students, between students and students, and really set up guidelines that both sides are bought into as far as how a classroom community will look on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a national program that essentially recognizes that every school is different and every classroom is different and every grade level is different. So the purpose of Capturing Kids' Hearts really is to engage in a dialogue, student to student, student to teacher, and then hopefully teacher to teacher, where it's a conversation revolving around how do you want to be treated, how do you want to be treated by the teacher, how do you want to be treated by the peer, and then most importantly is how do you want to be treated in those moments of conflict? Because at no point during my high school career did a teacher ever ask me, what do you value in the classroom? How do you want to be supported? And what is extremely important to you? And then the next step, which is the part that we're in right now, is it's that idea that we all collectively agreed on the culture of the classroom. Now, how as we as students hold each other accountable to ensure that that culture is what's duplicated day over day over day, and how do we ensure that the teacher also holds us and that we as students can hold the teacher accountable to creating that culture that we all collectively agreed that this is the culture that we want in our math class versus our science class versus our English class.
It's a program that basically makes us think about how we want to treat others and how we want to be treated in the classroom.
I think it's a step in the right direction for students and teachers because it establishes a level of empathy, and both the students' goals and the teachers' goals are taken into consideration. I would say students often don't really think about how the teacher wants us to treat them, and this social contract makes us think a bit more about that, and also lets the teacher think about how we as students want to be treated by the teacher. So I'd say a greater level of understanding is passed along with these social contracts.
For me, I think Capturing Kids' Hearts is a way, like a non-confrontational way for students and teachers as well to express how they're feeling, and if someone, is kind of degrading them or being rude to them, like they can, show that upsets them without, really putting it into words.
What changes have you noticed after the implementation of the Capturing Kids' Hearts program?
So my department was the very first to go, so we kind of got it off the ground. So it's been a couple weeks now that we've had it in place, and I've noticed students pointing it out to other students when they feel like something isn't being lived up to. Sometimes it's in a joking manner, which at first kind of bothered me a little bit, but the more I thought about it and the more I've seen it in action, like if they're referring to it at all, I think that's effective, that they are kind of absorbing and internalizing the different ways that people want to be treated in the classroom and the way a teacher wants to be treated. So I've been very happy with it for the most part. It makes me check myself sometimes. If I was in the past maybe would have raised my voice with the class to get attention, instead I'll use the hand signal, and it might take 10 seconds longer than if I yelled, but I don't have to yell, and I don't have to kind of create that adversarial relationship with my students that I would have in the past. So I found many of the different tools effective.
Well, to be honest with you, English hasn't rolled it out yet in the classroom. We do that tomorrow, but I have seen kids that have come from other classrooms that have rolled this out, and I've noticed the penalty and giving people 2 ups or 2 positives, and sometimes I've seen kids kind of laugh about it, but I have seen some really positive changes and some really good affirmations given. So I do see that it's moving in a positive direction. And I have noticed that kids are more willing to check each other's behaviors a little bit. Now I haven't seen major behavior issues, but even small behaviors or things people are saying, kids are more apt to say, hey, that wasn't right, let's move away from that. So I've seen some positive changes so far.
I mean, one of the things I've seen right off the bat is the interaction of teachers to students. I feel we've had a super positive start to this school year, like more positive than I've seen in many, many years, even pre-COVID. And just the overall greeting, the energy, back and forth between our teachers and our students, I've seen at a higher and greater level.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the teachers have been given the students a voice, and I think that's allowed the teachers to get to know their students better in a much more rapidly than they would have in a traditional school year. And I also think it's allowed the students to get to know each other better than they would have in a traditional school year if we weren't implementing this program.
Yeah, so I guess just to answer that question really quickly, I've been the principal of 2 different high schools.
Oh, okay.
I was an assistant principal at a middle school. I taught in high schools, so I was a world history and civics and economics teacher. Taught primarily freshmen, taught some seniors, then got into the administrative world. And when I became an assistant principal, that's when I was introduced to Capturing Kids' Hearts 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And so all of the schools that I've led as a principal, I've implemented the Capturing Kids' Hearts process. Again, I think the reason for that is if you like, so answer this question for me.
Of course.
Do you work harder for teachers that you like more than others?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And so I really think that the key to education is interpersonal relationships. And so just remembering that you're a human, you're a younger human who has some stuff to learn about life, but so do we, right? As teachers and educators. And so we want to see the humanity in education. I know it's Pine Lake Preparatory, and so we're preparing you for college and all those other things, but it's about life. And so a huge part of success in life is how adept are you in dealing and working with other people. And I think that's the heart of our program, because if we graduate you and you learn every single concept, right, that you were supposed to learn in AP chemistry and organic chem, the class that I was just in, and all the just wild classes you guys have here, but you don't know how to treat people well, then we failed, right? Collectively, the adults have failed you. And we want to make sure that that's a huge part of your education as well.
People listen to each other a lot more, and they really think about other people's opinions, so you don't just get one side of it, you're able to hear all sides of an argument, basically.
So yeah, one of the main changes I've seen is the teachers are implementing it, and that kind of gets it in the students' minds that, it's here, it's actually a good thing. Even though some might joke about it, even though they're joking about it, I mean, that still gets the word out there that it's a good thing for us. It's really here just to protect everyone, not just students, protects teachers and whole classrooms as well. So,
how do you think the Capturing Kids' Hearts program will affect our school long term?
I think if we continue on focusing on the positivity and the nature of affirmations, it can really send a positive message to the school where we start to kind of coalesce around each other. Instead of having these factions of people, we will make sure that everybody's taken care of, I think is the biggest thing I see. And also, again, empowering you all as students to make the choices to when someone's acting out or doing something wrong. Teachers can only hear so much. And there's a lot of times where a teacher didn't hear some inappropriate remark across the room, but a kid can check it, say, hey, that's not right, we don't do that here anymore, and alert a teacher or bring people in to help. So it's giving you the power to stop behaviors that have been a problem in the past. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to make our culture better.
I think it'll really come down to the buy-in from the staff and the students. Is it something we did on day one and put on the wall and is forgotten about and we don't repeat next year? Is it something that the first teacher did very well, but by the time it got to the last department to go, it was just let me do this in 10 minutes. I think it requires the administration to support the teachers that are doing it and really to require the teachers that maybe aren't as enthusiastic about it to make it a part of their classrooms. I've been teaching for a long time, so I've seen things come and go, and hopefully this is something that can stay because I think it has the possibility to be very effective in just changing the way kids think about how they interact with each other and their teacher. It can be powerful if it grows over years. I think it can be more powerful if it begins in the middle school or even begins in the lower school, that it's not something we have to relearn every year, but it just kind of becomes part of the culture.
All right, thank you very much. That's all the questions.
You're welcome. Got it.
Why did you decide that Capturing Kids' Hearts would be a good fit for the school?
I would say there's a couple of reasons. One, we really, really wanted to build skill in our teenagers going out into the world. These are skills they can apply in career. These are skills they could apply in even family dynamics, in how to approach conflict appropriately. It's not always modeled well by other teens, and it's certainly not always modeled well by adults. And so that was something we felt we really wanted to build skill in, and we're in the beginning stages of that, and we're very curious to see how this moves forward and actually see it being applied. The second thing, personally for me, why I felt it needed to be here is we've moved to this digital, social media, disconnected world, and more so in the lives of youths than in my generation for sure, Dr. Hoffman's generation. And so to strengthen that reconnection of human to human, that's for me important to bring into the students of Pine Lake.
And I think the last thing is a recognition that we're emerging out of COVID. To think that our ninth graders, for instance, the last time they started a regular school year like we have this year, they were in 6th grade. So there's been a lot of falling back on the technology, a lot of where during COVID, we weren't necessarily engaged as a school collectively, and really opening that door and that dialogue of, as we emerge back from COVID, what lessons did we learn from COVID? How do we want to implement those learned lessons into the classroom to ensure that our school is where everyone feels safe, where everyone feels like their voice is heard?
Do you think Capturing Kids' Hearts is a good fit for the school?
Yes, because it lets people who maybe don't want to voice their opinions or are afraid to, it gives them an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great fit for the school. I think so far the students are really learning about it and getting into it. I think it's a good fit for this school in particular because we don't have a lot of students, and so I think it's easier. It's an easier way to deal with little situations that might come up.
Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.